Have you been doing our 12-week challenge? We are currently on week 8, and there's no reason why you couldn't keep going back to week 1 and coming through to all the different weeks that we've been giving you some work to do to work inside, to go inside of yourself to really help you change any situation that you want to change and go into your most, the desire that you want, the goals that you want. Or are you not doing the work because you can't at the moment because you haven't got time? I haven't got time, or I can't afford the time, or I can't afford to be looking on YouTube and doing these challenges at the moment. Well, this is what we're going to look at this week is reasons. This is coming back from what we did last week. It's a follow on from what we did last week in terms of really holding in to that the new vibration of the new version of you and the new uh, desire, the new world, the new reality that you want to see yourself in. And let's have a look now at some reasons why we still want to actually hold on to the old version of ourselves, even if we don't like it. Uh, coming back from last week into various habits of as human beings, what we like to do and like to be in the same vibration. So let's look at ways as well of how we can change that. So let's have Rob looking at this first. What do you think, Rob, about this? First of all.
Letting go is really frightening sometimes
Hmm.
because you let go of what you know, even if it's not good, but it's a comfort zone. It's an area you
Mm.
understand. I've got this, I keep it close to me. I have my own fears, my own worries, my own ways of manipulating those fears and worries to make my life work in a way that I am familiar with. And whilst you might recognize that that isn't the vibration you should be
Mm.
working at, and that you can be more and better than that, it's hard to cross that bridge, isn't it? I think last
Mm.
week we spoke of the leap of faith you need to take.
Yes, yes.
And it is that because you can't sit going, well, I'm sort of comfortable with this. I know where I'm at. And if I raise my vibration, as you call it, what does that mean?
Mm.
What's
Mm.
the new reality for me?
Mm.
And what happens if I haven't got these crutches anymore? What do I do? Help me. Yeah, the obvious answer, of course, is you won't need crutches. You won't remember the crutches.
Mm.
And you can move on in an entirely free and different way with a different way of thinking and a different positivity, and your ability to manifest will be just tenfold. But I do understand, and I guess I would have to say at some points I've been the same.
Mm.
It's easier to stay where you are sometimes
It
than to move
is.
forward because that's not scary. Or it may have its
Mm.
own fears that are different, fears you've learned to be comfortable with or to manage, but it's not unknown. And unknown is very scary. Yeah.
Mm.
Do I want to go into space? Yeah, kinda. Yeah, I wouldn't mind. It's unknown, but is it unknown? Because I've seen all the pictures of what it looks like from out there, so it's not as unknown as it could be. But would I want to do something that I had no control over? Hard to judge, isn't it? It's case by case. What about you? Do you hold on to things, Julie, because it's easier?
Oh, yeah, definitely
Yeah.
have done a lot better at it. This is why we're talking about it so much better now because once you let go and really feel what that means to you about the letting go. Because I hear a lot of people saying, I let go, hear a lot of people saying, oh, I'm in neutral now about something. And you can definitely see the knot, and it's hard for
Hmm.
you to see yourself. A lot of times it's our ego. Our ego just gets completely in the way. Our ego is the one, or you can call it subconscious mind if you want to, however you want to say it. The subconscious allows us to stay in those stories, even if we don't like it and we keep complaining that we'd like a different world, we'd like to see a different world, or we'd like our own life to be different. Isn't it good that we keep complaining about it all the time? And so, first of all, if you on these challenges that we've been doing, you should have by now really felt into what you want, the desire that you want, and the desire that you want is more about, who you are as a person. Do you want to help humanity by setting up a business? Have you got an opportunity to have a new job? Are you not happy in the job you've got and you really feel into? There's so many other wonderful jobs out there, but then feel into it as you keep consistently feeling into that desire that you want. Is there a wobble there? Is there a little wobble to go in completely into that desire? Or are you starting to have that little wobble and coming back to the current reality? Because as Rob says, it's so familiar and so comfortable being there. So we want to give you the analogy of, if you think of a snake shedding its skin. So a snake gets so far in the world, gets so far in the year, and it will shed its skin at whatever time it wants to shed its skin. But does a snake go back and think, oh, maybe I need that skin. I was a bit attached to that piece of skin. Maybe I should just hold on to it a little bit. Um, no, a snake does not do that. Sheds that part of the skin into the new, really embracing the new version of itself without that old skin that it doesn't need anymore. So if you think of that as an analogy for what humans should be doing, it is you're shedding your identity. So the identity that if it's current or in the past that you don't want, you have to be prepared to let go, shed that old identity in order for you to get the new desire. If it's such a big desire as well, you have to be prepared to really work into who you are, who's that new identity of you. And as we say, this is really quite scary because we've also got all the stories of allowing us to keep ourselves in this current vibration. As Rob said, you could look at this in health, so the crutches or the ill health. Think about actually how is that serving you right now? And we could definitely say it's not serving you, but for some people, is that allowing you to stay in some kind of victim mode? This is sent with love, in some kind of victim mode. If you stay in this vibration of, I'm always ill, I've got this chronic problem, what would happen if you actually got rid of that problem? Think about into that part of the future you. What would you be like? What would you be doing if you stopped being, stopped being in this vibration, in the vibration where you're constantly in a loop of trying to fix yourself? Because of the chronic condition. So just think about how you can, get into everything. We're just going to wait for Rob to come. Oh, there's Rob.
I'm back.
Do do apologise about that for anybody listening. Rob disappeared for a little while and he's come back as a brand new identity. We'll say brand new identity. He shed his
Yeah.
old and came back.
I'm afraid you froze. You froze completely, and I have
Yeah,
no idea if you were there or
yeah.
you weren't there.
Yeah, we'll have a look. I think I was still recording. And this is
Yeah,
what
no, it is still
happens.
recording. Yeah,
This is what
we're
happens
okay.
when
We're
we're,
okay.
when we're doing this completely live, completely with no editing. So absolutely fine.
Yeah.
No worries at all. This is what happens. So yeah, so just have a feel into what might be just stopping you from being that healthier version of yourself, from going and getting the new job, to starting a business in full force, all in. You have to be all in. If you just dabbling in things, in your new desires, that's when you have the wobble because you just dabble a bit and this is not working, that's not working. And then you come back to your old self and do your own ways. So things will be different. If you want a new job, will be so much different. Might even be different hours. Definitely a new business feels so much different. There's so much that I've found out, so much is involved in when we're doing different businesses. I've changed over my businesses as I've grown as a soul. And we have to keep thinking now, the question we need to ask, is this expanding soul? Is my soul continuing to expand as I do whatever I'm in the current moment doing? And that's a really good question to ask as well, with that, because at the end of the day, what Rob and I are trying to show you, or trying, what we're showing you is that what you think is your reality is only what you as an individual, and then all of us coming together as a collective, has created. The guide shows this constantly. When we go to consciousness, that is what we're seeing. It literally is, oh, there's some little humans, there's Earth, and oh, that's what we're doing at the moment. Let me have a look at my console. So I'm playing the game as my higher self, as source, as consciousness. What would I like Julie to do now? Let's put some duality in her way, just because that's what I've chosen. So it is me doing it. It is me, creating what I need to help soul learn lessons to expand. It
Mm.
might be a lesson to come out of, I don't know, whatever, the matrix in terms of our belief system, in order to be that new, shed your old identity, be the new one. What do you
Yeah,
think?
I think, yeah, you're absolutely right, of course. It's important to remember that you are still always you. We're not creating a new person. We're just accessing the higher version of you
Mm, yeah.
that you're meant to be.
Yeah.
So if you are scared and you fear losing what's easy and manageable in favor of something you don't understand, just keep in your mind as you do this work that it is there for you. It's your gift, it's your right. It cannot be bad. There's nothing to fear. And if you don't know what's coming, you will be delighted and surprised in the very, very best
Mm.
ways. So just do it. Don't sit thinking, oh, okay, I'll do it. I'll do it. New Year's
After New
thing.
Year.
I'll do it for New Year. Just do it now. Just
Mm,
change your thinking now. Start in little ways.
mm.
Don't hang about. Don't wait. Don't procrastinate. Last week's lesson, and one I certainly had to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
It's just be with it and know that you are safe in the process. Know that
Mm,
there's just universal protection, and you cannot be hurt, cannot be let down. You cannot in any way be sidelined to being somebody else. So when we say you're going to create a new identity as that snake loses its skin, a snake takes a couple of days to lose its skin. It has
mm,
to shrug it off against rocks and whatever and pull it
mm.
off to get itself free. So it goes through a process to rebirth
Yeah.
itself as the snake that is going to have the next year. And probably it's got brighter patterns and maybe it's changed color a little as it's grown up. But that's what you'll be. You'll be brighter. You'll have different colors, different palettes, different thinkings, different experiences. And these are all exciting and amazing and just waiting for you, sat there waiting for you to take.
Mm,
So why wait? I understand the fear, but if you just clock how much more exciting life is without it, you won't be waiting at all.
mm, mm. And following on from what Rob's saying, definitely we, it is a process. We tend to think that when something goes wrong, that's the moment that we're completely out of alignment, soul's alignment. It's all going wrong. I need to stop. And so what we tend to do as humans is it was another habit that we had from last week when we just couldn't fit it in, was that, we have a habit of um, stopping too soon, literally stopping ourselves from moving forward too soon. We just, it's like it's not surrendering in, it's surrendering to your circumstances outside. It's thinking everything's done to you. So let me give you an explanation of this, or an example of this is if your desire is to get another job, and you're currently in the role you're in, your job might be in a different company, or you're in a job and you want to start a new business and you've been plodding along for a little while and the business hasn't been going, you tend to just stop too soon. It's just far too soon. And what might happen is that the job that you're in, if it's for soul's expansion, you might suddenly be made redundant, and you'll think, the first, your first reaction, isn't it, is to be in such fear, so much fear about all the things. You'd start telling yourself the story about all the things and the projection of, well, if I basically all the stories of, if I losing my job, I won't have the money, I won't be able to pay the bills, you name it, you can make that story up. You'll know all those things that you've said before. Instead of immediately thinking, yippee do, I've left, gives me a chance to leave my job. If you, from the moment of understanding, of learning that you've been made redundant or you've left your job, you've had to leave your job for not what you would think is not your fault, be embracing of that. That's the bit that we're talking about of letting go. That's the bit that's surrendering to, it's your soul that's done that for you on your behalf, or the universe on your behalf, or source on your behalf, because you've you've not chosen, you've got your desire, but you've decided to just come into the wobble and stay where you are. And it's just it's giving you that nudge. Wait, Julie, you need that nudge. I've been made redundant before. I knew from the start. I embraced it. And this was before. This was long. This was in 2006. It was long before I knew about doing all this work. Really embraced it. I was ready to leave. It took me, and as Rob said, it can take time. The snake takes time to lose its skin. It took me time. It took me 6 months to get another job, but I got a job on 2.5 days a week so that I could then do another 2.5 working into, at that time I was doing my massage. Um, and I had to I had to get my foot in the door with the local council. So I had to, for a month, do what do they call it? It's a temping job, and it was literally shredding all day, shredding. It was a nightmare. So I had to, for that month, you could say, oh, this wasn't, the greatest job you could get, but I knew it was temporary. And at that time, I didn't have the other job. But whilst I was doing that temporary, da-da, this 2.5 day job, perfect on computer systems. At the council, it was a mile, I could walk to it. This other job, the temporary one, I had to take my car, it was further along, further afield. But literally, because I had to do something that I didn't particularly want to do, but knew it was in my favor ultimately, I just went with it. I just would go with it. And, ultimately got, my other job for 7 years. I did it at that time. So this is how, when you just allow, you surrender and you're allowing everything to unfold, and what might feel the bad things are not necessarily, and that's what we want you to learn this week, or or not even just this week, but to understand, if something doesn't feel like it's happening in your favor, just take a moment, just sit within the moment, sit still and think, actually, is this helping soul grow? Because it'll help you so much to move away from your ego going into all the stories that you're giving your subconscious mind, thinking it's that you're not very good at things, that all these things happen to you. Where will the money be? So yeah, just watch that's another thing about how we do choose to move into the new aspect of us, to the new identity, if you like. And as Rob said, it's still us, but it's a new, it's like a new improved Julie. It's like
Yeah.
being in the wash and come out again, looking, bright and breezy into, the job, or whatever it is you desire. So sometimes it's not just a straight run. You get taken on what I call, the country, the natural country roads, to get to the same destination. Have you found that, Rob, or have you?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we can all, I think, get out of it by changing our thinking. It's like
Yes.
turning the record over or putting another record on. Record, that's dating me, isn't it?
Love
Uh,
records, vinyl.
But yeah, change your tune, in other words. So
Mm,
instead of
mm,
saying I can't, I won't, I don't, change it to I can, I will,
yeah.
I
Mm,
shall. So put a positive spin on things.
mm,
And it's not, you don't have to labor this. Just if you are used to saying, I can't have that because I can't afford it, whatever the reason is that you can't have that, which is about self-worth, just start to say, I can have that.
mm. I would even
Yeah.
go as far, Rob, as
Yeah.
saying I have that
I
because
have that.
I can
Yeah.
have that means it's in the future.
Yeah.
I have that means internally it's there already.
I already
That's
have
the
it.
difference in subconscious mind, isn't it? You know, in
Yeah. That's
subconscious,
a very good point.
yeah, where the
Yeah.
subconscious will go, I have it. I afford it. Instead of I can't afford it, I
Yeah.
afford it. I don't want to do that, I do that. It shifts the subconscious mind goes, huh?
Yeah. What do you
Into
mean
like,
I have it?
what do you
Yeah.
mean?
So,
And then it
yeah.
gets into like, hang on a minute then. Oh, so you have it. I need to give you evidence that you have it. And it goes to seek evidence. It's really good in that way. Like that white car syndrome, as I call it.
Yeah.
You're looking for a new car, white one. You see lots of whatever white Fiestas going on. It gives you that. It's that scenario, isn't it, Rob? So even yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah.
even just changing the words really, from the spell you're creating in can't and don't and won't, just take all of that out. And I have, I afford it. I afford it. I have it. Uh, Whatever,
Yeah.
however you
Yeah.
want
It
to.
takes
Yeah.
takes a little bit of work because you have to catch yourself.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. We all do it. We're all humans and we all go, I can't have, I don't, I don't want to do this, or I sometimes you don't want to do something, and that's
Mm,
actually fine. But if you just understand that if you are in your heart center, that place where everything is
mm,
possible, you already have it. You're not
yeah.
looking for anything at all. You have everything that you could ever possibly want and need. So just remember when you say I can't, don't, won't, that you do, are, will, take out will. That's future.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. You
You see, it's
already
so hard,
have,
isn't it?
ah, you
It's so
already
hard
have
to
everything
listen.
you want.
Mm, mm.
You just don't realize it.
Yeah, because we
And
think it's on the outside. Mm,
absolutely. So
mm,
get back into your heart center
mm.
and just allow it to come.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
will
And
unfold. It's the un
absolutely.
In 3D, it's just the unfolding of it. I won't even say waiting for it because whilst we're waiting for it, we're also going, well, where is it? Where's my stuff? Where is it? It
Exactly.
hasn't
Yes.
arrived. Look
Yeah.
in the outside. Look, it hasn't arrived. I've done that so many times in the future. And then my guides, my higher self tells me off. It's already there, Julie. The moment that's what we talk about, the giving up too soon, because you're wanting it there when you want it as a human, and it's when you understand, when you've learned your lesson in terms of holding on to the vibration, all the lessons around frequency. That's it. That is it. End of. It's all around your frequency of the lessons.
Yeah.
Soon as you understand that, there it is unfolding in front of you. Oh, that's a nice job. Oh, that's a great business to be in. Oh, somebody can help me do the business this way. Look at
Yeah.
look at how me and Rob met.
Yeah.
There was
Absolutely.
that,
And
one way you just know it's
yeah, if you're
yeah.
manifesting from the right place, which is in your heart
Mm,
center,
yeah.
you're also
Yeah.
going to have all sorts of realities that, oh, I actually don't want that.
Mm,
I really
mm.
thought I wanted that in my
Yeah, as
3D
well.
Rob and Julie.
Mm.
Actually, I don't because I've got something better already.
Yeah, exactly.
So that stepping
That's
stone that is
good.
just an ego-driven thing for me is actually just a hurdle I have to get over
Yeah.
because I've already
Mm,
got way more than that offers me.
mm,
So
mm.
cut the step out.
Yes,
Do it from the
yes,
right, get into your heart center. So go back to the beginning of the series if you've not.
yes, yes.
Follow these videos through and do the challenges. Understand where to manifest from and understand then what you actually are manifesting because you will be surprised at what falls away
Mm,
that you think you need.
yes. Yeah. Yeah. Very good, Rob. I think that's a great place to end and a great place to
Yeah,
talk about the challenge. Following on from what we just said,
yeah,
let your challenge this week be, you can do it all day, is watch yourself, watch your words all day. And are you at any time saying, I can't afford this. If there's something, even in the spiritual world, there's lots of courses that you can do. You don't always have to do the courses, but if they're there for you, if soul is putting them in front of you, at no time am I saying this is not me saying you need to spend lots of money on it, but what if there's a course there and it will take you to the next level? But what we're saying, this spiritual thing about if somebody's putting on a course, they can't charge or they can't charge very much. How ridiculous is that? If you look into that, how ridiculous is, when every single thing else in the world you have to pay for. Even somebody putting on a spiritual course has things to pay for. Nobody in this world can put on a course without it costing them. So you understand why they can't do it for free. But like us, we're doing, basic, this foundational work that, we know everybody wants to do for free. And I know lots of, people in the spiritual world are doing that work for free. When you put a course on, if you're hearing people saying, I can't afford it, remember that's their ego talking. It's what's happening on the outside of them. Ego says, I can't afford it. And hence, look at the outside. This is what I'm creating. Just think of it like that. I want you to think of things in a different way from now on and don't just listen to all the other ego-driven things, all the ego-driven, even in the spiritual community, all the ego-driven things. Look inside you, discern for yourself. So not just courses, but anything, just watch yourself when you're saying, I can't afford it, I can't do this right now because I haven't got time. Change, I can't afford it too. I afford it. Remember, this is not just money. I afford it. It's in every way affording the time, affording your investment in yourself. Whatever that thing is that you might have to exchange money for, afford it in every way in terms of your value, your worth, everything around that. Remembering that money doesn't exist apart from in the human construct. We have constructed it within it fits in within our matrix. Otherwise, it doesn't exist. So when you go to a higher consciousness level, you do understand that a little bit more. If you're saying, I can't afford the time, I afford the time. I have time. I afford the time. I don't want to do that. I do that. I do that. Whatever it is you feel like you need to do, if it feels so aligned with soul, just check it out. Remember the first question we're asking soul, is this expanding my soul? The other thing you can do is without ego, you can also go about your day and hear everybody else do it. They're just playing along with the false programming. Watch how everybody else does it and watch how we said last week that of people projecting into other people's fields, they can't afford it because they're in this whatever victim mode it is. If we all changed this, even just changed our thoughts around it, imagine that as a collective, what would happen then and how we would perceive, especially money. Especially money is a separation. We completely understand that it's not that separation, that it's just part of us. It's a mirror image to what we're saying about ourselves. So that is a very basic challenge, a very good challenge, because it'll help you to get into another perspective, help you shed that snake skin, help you shed your old identity and come into a new form where you can, just have so much different perspective on life and it becomes less anxious, less stressed when you see it in a different, when you see your whole life in a different way. This is just helping you move into, without really much effort at all, move into that new life. Okay,
Absolutely.
anything
Let
else?
let old habits go. That's all we're asking, really.
Yeah, yeah.
But let them go by changing the message that you play in your brain.
Mm, mm,
Start there, change that message, and see what happens.
mm. Definitely. And let us know what happens to you.
Mm.
Welcome all comments. And also, we're so grateful for everybody that's listening, that's watching.
Yeah.
And we're so grateful if you could subscribe to the chat to the YouTube channel, download, if you can like all our videos. So grateful to you. Okay, and we will see you next week. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone.